Welcome back to Three Ball Walk. Another week, and for the second time in our short history, another guest.
Yes.
Eddie Bob and Kyle Niblett. Kyle is the director of publicity for the Florida High School Athletic Association.
Yes, sir.
And in the past has worked for University of Florida Athletic Department, and most recently the sports information director for the Mississippi State baseball team. So we're going to talk a little bit of high school baseball, a little bit of college baseball in session 2, and right now just the week. Interesting. We were touching upon the fact Ichiro.
Yeah,
Have you
timeless
seen-
one. Yeah, how do you do that? 40, 42? Is he 42 now? Is he like
42
55 years old?
Yeah. Hitting 429 at 42.
He had, I'll tell you what, he was 4 for 4 on
Monday.
No, 4 for 4 on Saturday, 4 for 5 on Monday. He wound up, he was 11 for 14 at one point.
And who were they playing again?
The second game was against the Rays. The first game was against the Phillies, I believe.
Okay.
But
So
the most interesting thing
exactly
on
the
Monday,
greatest,
he had.
stat.
I'll tell you, you and me are the same way with the 73rd 4-hit game of his career.
Wow.
73 4-hit games.
Amazing.
I don't think I've had one in rec league softball.
Now, how close is he to 3,000 now?
40.
Because-
He finished the game 40 short.
Because like 2 weeks ago, I was watching the Marlins play, and the announcers were going, I don't know if Ichiro will make it to 3,000 this year because he really wasn't playing.
Well,
that
he had
much.
11 over the weekend.
Bows up over the weekend, and it's there he is.
He needs 40. It's funny.
He needs almost one for every year he's alive, right? For the rest of
He needs 10, he needs about 9 a month, and it was
I think
interesting.
he'll get it.
They were selling these Ichiro T-shirts with these big baseballs, and I've never seen a T-shirt. It's a dry erase T-shirt with a countdown, and they are sitting there changing the number
During the game.
During the game,
hilarious.
During the game, they're just erasing it.
changing the name on their little T-shirts, on the Ichiro countdown T-shirt.
That'll be fun. I think he'll get it. The problem is he'll probably get it on the road, and then that'll be a...
I think if you play for Miami, getting on the road is get more coverage than getting it at home.
Yeah, but you won't have your guys there with the shirt on with the numbers.
Well,
listed
they
on
do
the
And
side.
they say
But suing their fans and
So
stuff.
9 of them.
I know.
Plus 2 suite holders and 2
Who's this?
business
Vendors,
people.
2 vendors.
Miami Marlins.
How does that work?
They broke their 2-year season ticket contract, and the gentleman's argument is he was promised a certain
Parking spot.
and
Yeah.
other premium luxury items that the Marlins provided, and then halfway through the first year of the contract, took it away from him in an attempt to cut budget.
wow.
It's
That
gonna be
doesn't surprise
interesting.
me. That's the Montreal Expos owners,
So
Gloria and that gang. And
There's 2 franchises the last 5 years that have sued season ticket holders: the Redskins and the Marlins. And put 2 and 2 together and form your own opinion about those 2 ownerships.
That's just I don't see how you win on that. Even if you win, if you're the
lose.
Marlins, you lose. You lose the PR battle because who else wants to then come in and let me run and fill out my application for that luxury suite so you can hose me at the middle of the season as well.
There was a pizza company that was guaranteed $2 million a year in sales, and they signed a 4-year contract. And the first year they did 1.1 million. The second year they did 666,000, and then the third year they did 660,000.
it's not going in.
And
bankrupt.
he said, hey, I'm not doing a 4th year. He's now bankrupt, like you said, and the Marlins are suing him. They're suing a bankrupt business owner, which I imagine is great PR for that organization.
Why, if you're the Marlins, would you guarantee a pizza sale in a ballpark where 3/4 of the people don't eat pizza on a regular basis?
And not only that, but one of the things in the contract with the business owner said that they would average him 30,000 people at the stadium per game. I'm not sure if that's on him for signing it.
No.
Yeah, same thing if you're the pizza guy. Why do you sign one thinking
If you see those numbers.
unless the money's coming from the Marlins?
Right.
Right.
Unless there's a guaranteed rate.
And then, and I'll tell you, back to Ichiro a little bit, and the team, and they're saying the young guys, they're learning so much about how the game is supposed to be played. On the other hand, Yasiel Puig last night gets pulled out of the game because he's not playing the game way the game that should be played. Did you see that?
I didn't.
I did
What did
not.
he do?
What did he
Did he not run to first base?
He didn't run to first.
Oh,
He jogged out a single instead of running hard.
He jogged out a single?
Jogged out a single, but this comes
Was
on.
it a single in the gap, or was it a single directly out of left
It was
field?
enough to get pulled for a pinch runner right after your single.
But I mean, I didn't see it,
ticked.
so-
Well, on Sunday, did you see bottom of the ninth inning? And did you see this? Okay, bottom of the ninth inning. He's on second base, nobody out. Tie game, bottom of the ninth. The guy lays down the perfect sack bunt, get the winning run over to third base, hard down the third baseline. The third baseman has to come up and field the ball, throws it, and Puig forgot to run to third.
He forgot to run
He
to third.
did not run to third on a
This is
sack
amazing.
bunt in the ninth inning. And he justified himself, made up for
You
it,
have to.
by getting an RBI single in the bottom of the 17th and winning the game. So I'm saying making your team play an extra 8 innings
Yes.
He
Thank
was
you.
just trying to
you
get him
didn't
ready for
run
the
to
ground.
on a sack bunt. I mean, that's routine. We're going to lay, I mean,
Baseball 101. That's high school ball. I mean, but
he did not run to third on a sack bunt.
Well-
He kind of went, and by the time he decided to go, the shortstop had sprinted over and was on third base.
Well, maybe that's why he got pulled.
Well,
so
it-
maybe more so. Maybe there's some
it's
things that are
snowballing.
happening.
Do you like Dave Roberts as a manager?
I haven't really watched a whole lot. I mean, I think my big thing with the Marlins and Mattingly and whatever, with a bunch of young guys, I think Mattingly let the Puig situation occur. And I think those kind of things, you need to be disciplined. You need to be sat down. And you say, that's not how you play the game.
Right.
You may decide to try to go to second base on a single to the center fielder, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to get thrown out. Unfortunately, that 1 time out of 10, you're on Sports Center, and look what a great hustler he is and everything. But he was thrown out 3 other times trying to do the same thing. That's not a...
Is there a leadership problem in that clubhouse when you have veterans like Utley and Carl Crawford who aren't willing to pull the guy aside and say, "Hey, listen, come into line here"?
That's it
There's
right
a bigger,
there.
there's a
And
bigger picture.
Roberts is trying to take care of himself. But a lot of times, you're right. It's the
So is
leadership
that-
in the team.
So is that also then one of those cultural things where?
That's what they blamed it at first.
No, I'm just saying about the leadership guy. If Puig wasn't a superstar from Cuba, would he have been pulled aside already and said, "Hey, you gotta"?
I'll tell you, it's interesting with the Cuban aspect. I remember Livan Hernandez, when his rookie year, second year, led all National League pitchers in batting average against, the highest batting average against number 8 hole hitters and opposing pitchers. And it was almost the light switch. When he's got the heart of the lineup, you bear down, but then you can take a few plays off. You can take some batters off because I don't have to deliver my good stuff.
Well,
and it's
he delivers
almost
good stuff
and,
in the
and that's
17th.
and the interesting part is Cuban in amateur baseball at the time, that's what they can do. 7 out of 10 games, they can take it off because of the competition. Then when they're playing the Dominican, when they're playing the United States, you got to flip the light switch on and they can. But in the major leagues, you better learn. You can't take a batter off.
We have Kyle with us, and time is we allotted some time for this. We got a little bit further than we thought we were going to get. So let's talk some high school baseball. You just got finished in Florida.
Yeah,
with
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers with the tournaments.
FHSAA state championships at the home of the Red Sox spring training, JetBlue Park. It's an amazing facility.
How'd that go? And who won?
It went great. Bowles High School actually beat, I forget who they were playing, to be frank with you. They won the state championship in the 11th inning on a walk-off suicide squeeze.
All right.
And after playing, 11 innings in high school, they go 7. So you're 4 into extras. And both teams are doing, there's probably 4 or 5 times combined where from the 6th inning on, the winning run was at third base with with 1 out or less. So 0 1 outs. And neither team could get it done. It was a comedy of errors. It was just, the darndest thing would happen, a strikeout, infield fly, whatever. And then here we are in the bottom of the 11th, and there's a runner on third and 2 outs. And I think the coach just said, well, we've been playing for about 4 or 5 hours now. Let's just see if this works. And this guy comes up to the plate, and he's 6'6", 6'7". He's a pinch hitter. Hasn't played all night. And he just,
lays it down.
there's a fastball at his head, which is obviously a ball if you're 6'7", and he just pushes it down the first baseline. The pitcher, who's a left-hander, goes to field it, slips on the grass, run scores, dog pile. It was
Oh,
a
my goodness,
fascinating,
that's awesome. It's incredible.
fascinating moment, and
awesome.
as happy as those kids were, I ran on the field with the camera to do some social media aspects of it, and as happy as those kids were, you can look in the background of the video, and the other team just immediately starts crying, and that's
high school. That's high school baseball.
But I love it because you go to a Rays game and there's a winner and a loser. I went down to watch Yasiel Puig a couple of weeks ago in Tropicana Field, and the end of the game happens and everybody's like, okay, well, on to the next one. Well, in high school baseball, there's passion, there's emotion, and everyone's fired up. And as much as they chirp in college in the dugouts, high school now is awesome. And then I think one of my favorite things was there were some teams from all over the state, and culturally there were some games that kind of felt like the World Baseball Classic. There was drums, banging on the drums. There was beats in dugouts. They were singing.
How many games did they play that day?
Oh boy,
Different
it was
classes?
4 games every day. So Thursday was, I think, 5A semifinal 2, and then 6A
And
semifinal 2.
a lot of college prospects.
Yes. I tell you what. Let's see. It wasn't Bulls. It was West Orange. I think West Orange High School. They actually lost. It was a matchup with the number 3 team in the country, which was Stoneman Douglas, and the number 9 team in the country. What did I just say? West Orange.
West Orange.
In fact, Florida has the most top 25 or high school baseball teams in the country. Texas has 7, and I think Florida has 8.
And how many of teams like that? How many Florida high school athletes will play D1 baseball?
Yeah,
I
I don't know off the top of my head, but I did read a study when I was actually down there. The sport administrator was showing me it's the highest percentage of any state in the country.
Here's something just to get the plug, and I know it's not baseball, but first round of the NFL draft.
First round of the NFL draft, we had, I want to say 7 or 8. I don't know. There was one time I didn't count Laramie Tunzel, and there was one time I did for PR purposes. So,
Well, you got to count him. He's still number
You have
one.
to count
And he's a Florida high school.
And he's just
product.
from up the road.
You mentioned social media, that you were taking pictures. How much has social media impacted high school baseball?
it's impacted high school in general because there's a lot of coaches out there that don't realize we see what they tweet. So it's actually the compliance and eligibility department at our organization has become a lot more involved in social media because there's coaches out there that don't understand that platform is not just seen by them and their players, or somebody tries to direct message a kid at another school, and they don't realize it's actually a tweet, not a direct message, and then another school that follows that coach reports them to our office. Wow. So it has completely changed the game.
You mentioned compliance and different things in coach, a kid at another school and everything like that, and it is one thing I did want you to touch on a little bit here in the last couple minutes of this session. The choice of play law,
School choice, House Bill 7029.
That's going into effect in 2017 in the
Right.
state of Florida. Basically says
If you as the parent, if you have the ability to get that child to a school, meaning you have the transportation to get that child to the school, as long as that school has the availability to take in that kid, as long as the numbers are right and there's space for that kid, they can transfer to that school.
Transfer to that school and then play a sport. But in 2017, you don't even need to go to the school, do you? You can just play on the team? Can you play basketball in the fall for one school and baseball in the
No,
spring
that's
for another?
actually the immediate eligibility thing that takes into effect this upcoming year.
Okay.
In 2016, 2017. That says I can be a basketball player at Buchholz High School, and as soon as the basketball season gets over with, I can immediately transfer to Gainesville High School.
But you have to transfer schools.
You have to academically. You have to go to that school.
You can't academically.
You cannot attend Gainesville High School and play sports at Eastside High School. You have to go over there as a student as well.
And once you transfer, is it permanent? So you can't transfer back? There's a flip-flop kind of thing?
Well, technically, I mean, if you wanted to, and I don't know why anyone would want to, you could play 3 different sports for 3 different schools in 1 year.
Wow.
In 1 school year.
That's incredible. We're almost out of time. Let's come back to that at the first part of the session before we jump into college baseball with our special guest, Kyle Niblett, who's here with us. And I always get those letters wrong. FHSAA. FHSAA. Lots of letters.
Florida High School, just remember FHS.
Yeah, that deal with the high school sports in the state of Florida and some new rules that are coming into play. We'll talk about that for a few minutes. Then we'll talk about his time at Mississippi State and what he learned there as well when we come back from the break. So have a good week. If we don't see you on the other side, remember to play ball this week. Watch some baseball. There's plenty of time to watch it right now.